To measure the infrared radiation given off by different objects, such as a black and silver beaker filled with hot water or a Leslie cube, you have a number of options. First up, which is my preferred one, is using an infrared sensor connected to a data logger. Now, the reason that this is nice is because it gives your reading in watts per meter squared, which is directly telling you how much infrared radiation is being given off and has very little difficulty in interpreting the results. A cheaper alternative is to use an infrared thermometer, which measures the amount of infrared given off and then translates it into what it thinks the temperature is. However, this can be a bit confusing because here it suggests that the silver beaker is cooler than the black beaker, but they're actually at the same temperature. So it's not actually measuring the temperature, it's measuring the amount of radiation given off and translating that into what is in fact going to be an incorrect temperature for at least one of the objects. Which is why the infrared detector for a data logger is a preferable option. Another option is to use a thermal imaging camera, which will give you a very visual representation, but you can also ask it to give spot temperatures, which works in a similar way to the infrared thermometer, which will have the same downside that it's not actually measuring the temperature, but rather it's measuring the amount of infrared radiation given off and translating that into a temperature, in much the same way that it colours the different parts of the picture based on the amount of infrared radiation that they're giving off. A final option is to measure the temperature of the different coloured beakers full of water with time and assume the one that cools down fastest is giving out the most infrared radiation. If you're going to do that, it's important to have lids on the beakers to reduce the effect of evaporative cooling, which otherwise is likely to mean that both beakers cool down at roughly the same rate.